The autumn of 1974 marked the beginning of one of the most audacious crime sprees in North American history. In the quiet corridors of banks across Canada and the United States, a new breed of criminal was about to emerge. One that would redefine the art of bank robbery, with military precision, gentlemanly conduct, and an almost theatrical flair for drama. Three Canadian men would soon become legends in the criminal underworld: Paddy Mitchell, Stephen Reed, and Lionel Wright. Together, they formed what the media would christen the Stopwatch Gang, a name that would strike both fear and admiration into the hearts of law enforcement agencies across two countries. Their story began not in the boardrooms of organized crime, but in the harsh reality of Canadian correctional facilities, where chance encounters would forge an unlikely partnership. Stephen Reed, a young man from Massey, Ontario, carried the weight of a troubled past on his shoulders. His journey into crime had been marked by desperation and poor choices, leading him through the revolving doors of police custody. It was during one of these incarcerations that fate would introduce him to the charismatic Paddy Mitchell, a man whose criminal ambitions far exceeded the petty crimes that had defined Reed's early career. Mitchell possessed something rare in the criminal world: vision, intelligence, and an almost mathematical approach to planning that would transform amateur thuggery into a sophisticated operation. The third member of their triumvirate, Lionel Wright, brought his own unique skills to the partnership, where Mitchell provided the strategic brilliance, and Reed contributed raw determination. Wright offered the steady nerves and technical expertise that would prove invaluable in the high-stakes world they were about to enter. Together, they formed a criminal chemistry that was both rare and dangerously effective. What set the Stopwatch Gang apart from ordinary bank robbers was their revolutionary approach to the craft. While traditional bank robbers relied on intimidation, violence, and often chaotic execution, these three Canadians brought a level of professionalism that bordered on the corporate. They studied their targets with the diligence of doctoral students, analyzing traffic patterns, security protocols, employee schedules, and escape routes with obsessive attention to detail. Every robbery was choreographed like a ballet, with each member knowing exactly where to be and what to do at every moment. The gang's signature methodology became the stuff of legend. One member would enter the bank wearing a stopwatch, prominently displayed around his neck, a psychological tool that served multiple purposes. It communicated to terrified tellers and customers that this was a timed operation, creating urgency without the need for excessive threats. More importantly, it became their calling card, a theatrical element that captured the public imagination and gave them their infamous moniker. Their robberies were masterpieces of efficiency. The typical Stopwatch Gang heist lasted no more than 2 minutes, often closer to 90 seconds. They would enter calmly, announce their intentions with polite but firm authority, collect the money with businesslike precision, and vanish into carefully planned escape routes, before security systems could even register the threat. There was something almost supernatural about their ability to materialize, strike, and disappear without leaving meaningful traces for investigators to follow. The gang's reputation for nonviolence became as legendary as their precision. In an era when bank robberies often ended in bloodshed, shootouts, or hostage situations, the Stopwatch Gang maintained an almost gentlemanly code of conduct. They treated bank employees with courtesy, never fired their weapons during robberies, and seemed to take pride in accomplishing their goals without causing physical harm. This approach not only reduced their criminal charges, but also earned them a grudging respect from both law enforcement and the public. Between 1974 and 1980, the Stopwatch Gang executed their criminal master plan across North America with breathtaking success. They robbed more than 140 banks and financial institutions, accumulating approximately 15 million Canadian dollars. A staggering sum that represented one of the most successful criminal enterprises in Canadian history. Their targets spanned multiple provinces and states, creating a jurisdictional nightmare for law enforcement agencies struggling to coordinate their response across different legal systems and geographical boundaries. The gang's operational philosophy extended beyond mere robbery to encompass a sophisticated understanding of criminal logistics. They maintained safe houses, established complex communication networks, and developed multiple contingency plans for various scenarios. Their preparation was so thorough that they often knew more about bank security systems than the institutions they were robbing. They studied architectural blueprints, memorized employee schedules, and even monitored police response times to ensure their operations remained within acceptable risk parameters. As their success mounted, so did the pressure from law enforcement agencies. The FBI, RCMP, and various local police forces began sharing intelligence and resources in unprecedented ways, treating the Stopwatch Gang as a national security priority. Task forces were formed, surveillance operations expanded, and forensic techniques refined specifically to catch these elusive criminals. The cat-and-mouse game between the gang and law enforcement became a compelling drama that captured media attention across North America. The inevitable end came not through brilliant detective work or dramatic confrontations, but through the mundane realities that eventually trap all criminals: human error, changing circumstances, and the simple mathematics of probability. By 1980, the cumulative weight of their activities, combined with advancing investigative techniques and persistent law enforcement pressure, finally began to close the net around them. One by one, the members of the Stopwatch Gang found themselves facing the justice system they had so successfully evaded for nearly 6 years. The legacy of the Stopwatch Gang extends far beyond their criminal achievements. They represented a unique moment in criminal history, when intelligence, planning, and professionalism could temporarily triumph over traditional law enforcement methods. Their story became the subject of books, documentaries, and countless retellings that transformed them from mere criminals into folk heroes of sorts. Figures who embodied both the romance and the ultimate futility of the outlaw lifestyle. Stephen Reed, perhaps the most introspective of the trio, would later channel his experiences into writing, becoming an award-winning author whose work explored the psychological landscapes of crime and punishment. His transformation from bank robber to celebrated writer illustrated the complex nature of redemption and the thin lines that separate criminal genius from legitimate achievement. The irony of a bank robber winning literary awards while serving time for his crimes added another layer to the already complex mythology surrounding the Stopwatch Gang. Today, more than 4 decades after their crime spree ended, the Stopwatch Gang remains a fascinating chapter in Canadian criminal history. Their story serves as a reminder of an era when criminal enterprises could still capture the public imagination, when the line between villain and anti-hero remained tantalizingly blurred, and when 3 young Canadians proved that with sufficient intelligence, planning, and audacity, even the most secure institutions could be made vulnerable. Their legacy endures not just as a cautionary tale about the consequences of crime, but as a testament to the human capacity for both extraordinary planning and ultimate self-destruction. The Stopwatch Gang's incredible 6-year run across North America stands as one of the most sophisticated criminal operations in Canadian history, proving that sometimes reality truly is stranger than fiction. From their gentlemanly approach to bank robbery, to their meticulous planning that would make military strategists envious, these 3 Canadians left an indelible mark on both sides of the border. Their story reminds us that Canada's history is filled with fascinating characters and events that rival any Hollywood thriller. Tales of ingenuity, determination, and ultimately, the inescapable consequences of choosing the wrong path. If you enjoyed diving into this incredible piece of Canadian criminal history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to West is Best for more captivating stories from the Great White North. From coast to coast to coast, we bring you the most compelling news, history, and cultural stories that showcase why Canada continues to surprise and fascinate the world. Ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest videos exploring the remarkable people, places, and events that have shaped our nation. Until next time, keep exploring the extraordinary stories that make Canada truly unique.